to Harmony Hill's Family Ministry Podcast. It's our hope that as you join us in these conversations, you'll feel excited and equipped to pursue discipleship in your own home. I'm your host, Traci Hall, and today we have pastor of the pod, Ben Stokes, joining us.
Glad to be back.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
A long time, but you're about to be here for 4 episodes. So
I'm excited about that.
Yeah,
I really am.
You're going to catch up. So we're talking about building faith that lasts. And over the next few episodes, we'll be talking about how faith actually forms in a child, how it develops over time, what it looks like for parents and the church to partner together in that process. So Ben, people are listening right now and they're like, should I continue to listen? Should I not? So tell us who would benefit the most from these episodes.
Yeah, I would. Obviously, parents would benefit from this as we're going to walk through some really informative situations, and really it is designed ultimately to put tools in the hands of parents, but it's not just solely for parents, right? Sure. Also, grandparents would benefit from this, and those that might be watching that serve in kids ministry, or maybe just have a relationship with a family, that has kids. Yeah. This can be super helpful as well. And so I would say the culmination of those three groups would really benefit from this series.
And we could even include our single college friends who will one day have a family.
Of course.
Go ahead and start preparing yourself now.
All right, well, let's jump in it. All
okay.
Right. So one of the things that I realized in parenting, I have a 7-year-old and a 13-year-old, both boys. One of the things that I learned when they were both younger is that they really started to pick up on the characters of the TV shows that they were watching.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, even at a young age, I was blown away. Like, when they were young, I was blown away. I was like, you can't remember your teacher's name at church, but you can remember 10 characters that you watch on TV. And at that moment, I think that I started to understand something that is really foundational in this whole journey of developing the faith of your child, is that oftentimes I think we probably all assume, as I did, that faith doesn't start building early.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that oftentimes we have a tendency to think, well, one day I need to start investing in our children. Yeah. And ever since then, ever since I started to have that understanding, it's like, oh, they truly are sponges at a early age. Mm-hmm. So how can I start to weave the gospel into their daily life and the rhythms of their life, because they truly are sponges right then. And I had no idea. I learned, I think a few months ago, that 90% of a child's personality is fully developed by the time they're 5 years old.
Really?
Yeah. And that's so when I read about that, I was like, oh my gosh. So they are truly like sponges at that age. And so we have to take advantage of what they're taking in. Yeah. How are we incorporating biblical truths into the rhythms of their life, because they truly are a sponge and absorbing those. And that's why this didn't happen at this church. No one that goes to this church said these things, but I was in a conversation one time with a parent, and I was at a church, and they were explaining to me how their child was like, I don't think that, we'll call him Johnny. I don't think that Johnny, that he's ready for me to actually sit down and read the Bible to him. He's just not there yet. And I kid you not, as she was explaining to me that her child was not ready to fully understand who God is, I kid you not, this kid walked up, who was probably 5 or 6 years old, and said, "Is this place God's house?" He was already starting to process things about God. And to my point earlier, kids, they come wired to ask questions and to start and to be curious and to think about things of God. And that's what I want us to hit today and really highlight, and for us to understand, is that we have to start at an early age. Mm-hmm. That kind of broke my heart whenever I heard that parent say that, because I'm like, no, you're missing out on 5 years of being intentional to start investing in your child. And that's a call really to all of us, that we need to start and at a young age. It begins early because they are learning. They will learn things. It's a matter of what do you want them to learn.
Yeah. I hear, like, in my mind, often I'm reminded of the quote, "The world's going to disciple your kids if you don't." And so it's like, if I just leave them to the wolves, leave them to the phones or whatever, like,
Right.
they're going to be discipled. Do I want them to be discipled by me, or do I want them to be discipled by the world?
Right.
So,
Yeah, I think that we know that's true, right? Because of those names and characters that my 7-year-old was learning at a young age. They were
Yeah.
being discipled in that.
yeah.
They were being trained in that. And not that it's bad, but they will start to build their worldview at a early age. And to your point, what are you going to, how are you going to construct that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we, I think we just adults in general have a tendency to look at children and think, well, they're little people, so they have little roles to play. But Jesus says a little bit more. So can you kind of expand on, like, what is Jesus' perspective of children?
Yeah, and that is truly something that I have grown to appreciate and love about Jesus is his view of children, and we get that clearly. One of his clearest teachings on that was in Matthew 18, where I think he literally saw a child in the crowd, kind of put the child in front of the disciples, and was like, "Unless you're like this child, you will not enter into my kingdom."
Mm-hmm.
Now, think about that for a second.
Yeah.
That right there, Jesus affirmed the faith of children right there.
Mm-hmm.
Just what we have been talked about, Jesus emphasizes that and says this kind of faith, the faith that just sees things and acts on it, that's the faith that you need. Like, they have it.
Mm-hmm.
And so Jesus, I think his perspective of children was, one, he loved them very much, and he recognized that they have the ability to understand the difference between right and wrong and do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a call for all of us to do that. That's the type of faith that we must strive for, is that no limits, no question. We just do it, and they possess that.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't forget that about kids.
Yeah. Yeah. So what you're saying is that they are current disciples, not future disciples, right?
Exactly.
And
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
A little terrifying for parents who are like, "Ooh, I got to start now." So what are some things that we can talk about just in the next 15 minutes that parents can do at home to form the faith of their child now?
Yeah, and that's just it. What you said is that we have to start seeing them. I love the way that you put that. We have to start seeing them as disciples right now, and not one day we'll get to it.
Mm-hmm.
Not in one day we know that they're going to be following Christ.
Yeah.
And we just kind of hope that it happens.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess to answer your question, the first thing that we can practically do, because they're not going to listen to sermons, right? They're not going to always enjoy reading the Bible, while it should be a routine. And I know we're going to get to that in future episodes. But for now, I would say the very first thing that you can do is develop a relationship with your child.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's really basic. And a lot of the things that we say are going to be basic today, but I've grown to where I've kind of understand now that some of the most basic things are the hardest to be obedient in. And so I would ask, what does it look like for you? What does your relationship with your child look like?
Yeah.
How intentional are you when you're with them? And I know the majority of us who are listening, we have jobs. There are people that work at home with their families. They always have things going. And so usually by the end of the day, you are your gassed.
Yeah.
And so the last thing mentally is that, you want to rest. You want to kind of go home, check out, and do things that might help you recharge. And while those are important, I would say that those are the time that your children need you the most.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's difficult. But when you go home, what is the first thing that you do?
Mm-hmm.
How are you spending time and playing with your kids? one of my 13-year-olds still, he loves playing on the floor. And the older I get, the harder that is
You're
for
wearing
me.
glasses now.
I
You're
know.
like glasses old.
I am. I'm glasses old. I can now read stuff, but still, here I am. And so, yeah, getting older, it's hard to get on the floor, but it's just like that's where he loves. That's where relationships are built.
Yeah.
And if you are not taking intentional time, and for me, practically, that looks like I know I live, so I know when I'm getting close to my house that I silence my phone. And I know that for the first hour and a half, I am not going to look at my phone. Or if someone calls or someone texts, I'm not trying to get to it. That time is for my kids or for my boys because they don't care what happened at work.
Right.
Like they don't care what happened in the day. They don't care what is about to happen or what you're working on and what's mission critical for you. They just want to spend time with you.
Yeah.
And we all know as parents that day is going to end when they want to spend time with you. And so taking advantage of that time when they're younger to actually relate to them and develop a strong relationship through consistency.
Yeah.
Consistently being there for your kids and consistently doing the things that they want to do because you're building that relational equity. Because when you start to challenge them and call them up to the things of Christ, if you don't have that relational equity, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And so they have to know you, bottom line, and want to follow you and want to hear what you said or what you're going to say. And so it's through relation, and that comes with grace, being graceful to your children. They're going to mess up. They're going to throw the ball like last night, bouncing the ball in the house, hit the cup.
Oh no.
Water. And luckily it was water, but it was everywhere, and at the end of the day, that's the last thing you want to do is clean. But how are you going to respond to that? All of those things, how you deal with stressful situations, they're always watching because, like I said, they're sponges. And so they're watching. And so they're developing their personality. And so if you're stressed, if you're always getting on to them, if you don't have grace, they're going to pick up on that. And then they're going to mirror that in their relationships.
That is true.
And so they are watching how you navigate your relationship with them. And so relationships is really important. And that which every parent knows, but it's the hardest. I guess I know for me is patience, is having patience with your kids.
Yeah.
And even in every circumstance, I feel like that it's me fighting against what I want. Like back, I want to go do this. I want to go do this. Even in a conversation, I want to steer it this way. But having patience to go, no, I want to let them take the reins of this conversation to see where it goes, and not be so overcritical and just trying to have an agenda in every conversation, but just enjoy them.
Yeah.
And so I'd say that's the first thing. Yeah. How have you seen that play out with your kids?
Well, I'll say last episode, we had a mini episode with me and the girls, and I did not realize how important relationships were to them and how that is the foundation of how they view their relationship with the Lord, how they view themselves. And so I try my best to not be on my phone. Going back to what you said earlier about silencing your phone. But sometimes I can get caught up in it, right? And so I'm trying to be more intentional, just be fully present. And so I like that idea that you said of silencing your phone before you get home so that you're not tempted. Because so often I'm tempted. But what if somebody needs me?
For sure.
And my girls are like, but we need you, Yeah. And so, I think just being home with them and being fully present. I don't want my kids to grow up one day and sit across the table from me as an adult and go, I have memories of your phone being in between us. Or you putting down your phone to talk to me. That would break my heart. And one day I'm going to look up and they're going to be gone.
Yeah.
And I don't want that.
Yeah. It's sobering to let your mind go there.
Yeah.
But it, to your point, it does highlight the fact that we have to be present and intentional. Yeah, with that. and with our time. I would say that past relationships is repetition, and that the things that we start and put in place, there has to be consistency. And because we know that faith is not built in just one moment,
Right.
We can't talk to our children about the importance of being thankful and having gratitude for God, to God for the things that He's given us, and then not practice giving and holding. They need to see us hold our things loosely. How are we helping others? How are we like when someone comes? I love all of my neighbors, but we all kind of have communal living, and so stuff will go missing out of the shop. How do I respond to that?
Yeah.
Just small things like that. They're watching, and so it's about being consistent in all areas of your life. And if you start to have a family night where you read the Word and pray together, I know that looks different for different families, but if you start it, being consistent through that, and even I've learned that prayers before bedtime, like you can learn a lot about your kids and what's on their minds, and starting those, but being consistent to keep doing that, because repetition is how it will be more than just words. They will know that it's a value to you, and it will become a value to them, but only if you're consistent.
Yeah. I was convicted last week. Remy and I read a devotional before she goes to bed every night. Sadie normally is like asleep before I can even make it down the hallway, so I never read with her, but I read with Remy. And earlier this week, it was like past 9. She normally goes to bed at 8. And I was like, Remy, I'm tired. It's late. We don't need to read. And she was like, why not? And I was like, because we got to get to sleep. And then all of a sudden it was like, you're teaching her that it's okay to avoid the Bible whenever she's tired. And I was like, oh, you know what? Let's turn that light back on and read this devotional real quick. Because I don't want her to think like, well, I can be consistent unless I'm tired.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's hard.
It is.
To keep that up, especially when you have so much going on. But the value in it in the long run will be so much greater.
Right. And we can't, I think that's a great reminder that we have as parents, and grandparents that are influencers of children, we have to keep the main thing right, all the time. We're not only battling being tired and having busy schedules, but also we can't fool ourselves into not thinking and realizing that there's an enemy after our children too.
Yeah.
Like, He wants the hearts of our children. And so that's the importance that's why I'm so excited to do this and to talk to people about building the faith of the child, because literally there's a fight for our children's hearts.
Yeah.
And when I look at it that way, then all of a sudden it's okay. I can push on. I know that, like I said, like we talked about, there's a certain amount of time and there's a fight for their hearts. So I have to have a strong relationship with them.
Yeah.
I have to provide consistency. And with that consistency, I think it moves into the third thing, which builds normal patterns and normal healthy habits in our homes.
Yeah.
So I think environment is really important in the home, because what is normal in a home is going to be, that's what's going to be formative. That's what they're going to hang their hat on. Yeah. And so, how often do I encourage my boys? What does encouragement look like? And I've learned that best just through the. It's been fun, but it's been a little bit frustrating teaching my son how to hit. So he's in coach pitch, and so we've had a lot of fun. But what I have learned is I have to do 80% encouragement and great job, and you're doing it. Like if it's a good swing, even if he misses, like that's a great swing, even though it wasn't. And then wait to start correcting. They have to know that we're for them, and so just building that environment of encouragement and gratitude, thanking them for doing things. Yeah. And it's really important. And I know a lot of us might not have been raised in a home that you tell your kids that you love them and that you value them and that you're glad that they're you are glad that God gave them to you. I try to tell my boys after prayer when I'm putting to bed that I love them so much and I'm so grateful for everything that they've done. And I want them to know that, man, my dad is proud of me.
Yeah.
And so just building those, like, what does it look like? That would be a reflection question, is like, what does building a healthy environment in your specific home look like?
Yeah.
And a few of the things that make up mine are that encouragement, gratitude, making sure that they know that I love them and that they know that the Bible is the authoritative word in our home because that's where we go for truth every day as a family. And so to know that God's word is important and to hear from him. And so I would say those three things, the relationships, the repetition, and healthy environments are three really critical, components of making sure that, hey, your house is a place where we can start nurturing our children's heart at a young age. And so I just want to encourage y'all, don't wait. And I know what a lot of people are thinking right now that are watching this is like, it's too late for me. My kid is however old, my kid's 10 or my kid's 13, or maybe you're saying, no, it's too late. My kid's 7. It's not too late.
No.
And it might be awkward the first time.
Oh, definitely.
It will be awkward.
Yeah.
I tell this when I was a missions pastor and we were preparing to go to trips, is just embrace the awkwardness.
Yeah.
When you go cross-cultural, you just got to embrace the awkwardness and get comfortable in it.
Yeah.
And maybe I tell people, like, this conversation might be awkward. That's okay. We're going to get past it because here's what we need to do.
Yeah.
And so just start with that relationship. Start picking things that you want to be repetitive in your home that builds environments of healthy habits in your home.
Well, even just thinking about parents of teenagers who might just be starting, teens love authenticity. They don't want you to be fake. So if you walk in one afternoon and you're like, you know what, we're going to start reading the Bible together every night. Well, they're going to see that as fake because you haven't addressed the main issue first, which is that you have messed up. And so you need to start there and be authentic and real and say, like, I'm sorry that I haven't done this for the last 15 years. I have 3 years with you before you leave, and I want to start now. So will you forgive me, and can you follow me in this? And then you can start the repetition and building the environment, and so that they know what you're doing, and they're not like, oh, this is like a 1 week,
right.
trendy fab thing that mom's doing or dad's doing, and then
mom got convicted again. Dad got convicted again. Yeah. And that it did raise another just a quick thing that I forgot to mention is that through all this, none of it will matter if they don't see you in the Word. None of it will matter if they don't see you doing it.
Yeah.
And so what does your time in the Word look like? You have to have a consistent time in the Word, and they need to see you and know that it's not just a one-off.
Yeah.
It's not just something you're telling them to do but not doing, because, like, to your point, they will know real fast if you don't believe what you're asking them to do. So that's great. That's a great word. It starts with us.
Yeah, for sure. All right. I feel like we've hit a lot for one episode. So is there you got any last encouragements before we end?
I would just say that the last thing I would leave you with is that please take away that your kids are sponges, that it is never too early to start to develop rhythms, healthy biblical rhythms in your home. And so make a starting point and stick to it. Make a plan. It's the old adage, if you don't plan, you plan to fail. So make a plan. This is what I'm going to do. And if you don't know one, ask somebody. Like, go to another parent and tell them that, hey, I'm really wanting to start to build healthy habits in my home. Yeah. What does it look like in your home? And if they don't have it or they're struggling with it, go to another one. And maybe y'all can go together. It's okay not to know. It's not okay to not try and to not start. And so I would say develop a plan and start it. Yeah. Yeah. And if you don't have anyone, it's possible there's somebody that's like, I got no one healthy that can help me. We have the family lounge. Yeah.
And come by on Sunday mornings and I'll take your name and I'll get you connected with someone who wants to help. There's plenty of people in the church that will help you.
For sure.
Yeah.
You don't have to go at it alone.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And we want this to happen in families. I know that you share that passion. And again, it's a reason why I'm so excited about this series is because this is something I'm really passionate about. Having kids and working closely in the kids department is that we want our parents to have the tools to have healthy homes, to develop healthy biblical habits in their homes.
Yeah.
So we're here to help.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for your time and sharing all this wisdom. I think that our families are going to get a lot out of it. So,
well, I enjoy it. Thanks for letting me come back.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Family Ministry Podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.